Hi there, this is Mr. Jones, and I'd like to help you with simplifying square roots. Right? Now remember, 5 squared means 5 times 5. Remember the exponent, the number that's written above and to the right of the base number, tells you the number of times that you use the base as a factor. Okay? And negative 5 squared is negative 5 times negative 5. Now it's important to see that the negative sign is included within the parentheses, and that means that it's included in the factor that I used to multiply. Okay, and that means the square root of 25 actually has two possible values. The positive square root is 5, the negative square root would be negative 5. And notice, if I write negative 5 squared like so, where the negative sign is not included in the parentheses, then the exponent applies only to the 5. And that means 5 times 5 made negative, and this one would be negative 25. Okay, so be careful to distinguish between these two. Now in general, the radical symbol, the square root symbol, when it's used without a sign in front of it, it indicates the positive square root of a number. For example, if you see the square root of 25, you can assume in most instances that that means the positive square root, or positive 5. If a problem calls for the negative square root, then the sign will be indicated in front of the radical. For example, like so, negative radical 25. They're looking for the negative square root of 25, which is negative 5. Okay? So you can also see the plus or minus symbol in front of the square root, and that means they're looking for both square roots. Okay? So here's a definition for you. The number a is a square root of b if a squared is equal to b. So if a times a is equal to b, then a is the square root of b. Okay? Well, I've given you 4 sample problems here, the square root of 144 and so on. So why don't you go ahead and see if you can come up with the proper answer for each of those, and then when you're finished, or if you need help, hit continue and I'll look at the answers with you. Okay, well, the square root of 144. What number times itself gives you 144? That should equal 12, right? 12 times 12 is 144. Since there's no sign in front, they're indicating the positive square root, so I just write it as 12. Okay? The square root of 81. Well, 9 times 9 is 81. They're asking for the negative square root of 81, so negative 9. Plus or minus 1/4. Well, you can write that, by the way. A fraction can be written with the square root of 1 over the square root of 4. If that's one way that you could simplify it. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2. They're looking for the positive and negative square root, so plus or minus 1/2. And notice the square root of a fraction is larger than the fraction to begin with. And last but not least, number 4, the square root of negative 4. Well, you can try as long as you like to find any number that multiplied by itself will give you a negative number, and you will never be able to. Okay? The square root of a negative number doesn't exist, so for this one I can just say does not exist, or I can use the empty set symbol to show that there is no solution. Okay? Well, that should take you on your way to understanding simple square roots, and I just urge you to work carefully and work well.